and me and
Hold on.
Trouble with time.
Renan.
It's over
She wouldn't have
talking to
anything to do with it. Renan
But, hey,
Savage, but anyways, I don't.
8:12.
It's not like it's a-
There's a small to large chance that we're streaming, just so you know. We're streaming.
we are streaming.
Yeah. Well, I'm checking to make sure that's true, but yes.
Martin doesn't want to move it on. Makes no big deal.
Stay with you.
Yeah. So we have a meeting in St. George at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Our meeting is, right? Holiday Inn, where we always have it. Oh,
They really haven't had.
you gotta look at the address for that. Where's that at?
John.
Is there one?
Okay. All right.
Mike, have you got your prayer?
Right.
Nope.
Likewise. We appreciate it. All right.
You
Thanks for coming.
text me which one that you. Hi. Hi, Doug.
I'm gonna.
Get Richard.
Hey, Richard volunteered for whatever. Or, wait a minute. We might.
What is it?
Nothing.
Go ahead, John.
You just tell me, John.
Okay. Spencer's gonna do the pledge, Dave's gonna do the prayer.
I'm gonna write that down. I have a pretty short memory.
Mike, what was your son's name?
Cason Blake.
Kason with a C or K?
Okay.
Text Ellen.
Yeah. I guess when he goes over there for whatever, he visits with her.
Ellen's nice. She'll take good care of him. She'll make
Hey,
him
yeah.
or something.
As soon as we get started, I'm gonna just step out and go. I gotta go get cooking for a while, but I'll let you do the departmental reports.
Anytime you're cooking food for us, John, you're excused.
Yeah, do whatever
You're
you'd like.
excused.
What I might do is give you my mouse so that you can, or Marilyn, if you
Move
wanna
things.
click through,
move
because Dave's got a
things
PowerPoint.
Morning, Jeff.
We could just do that. I normally put the agenda, but we'll just go like this. And actually, you know what we could do? Oh. You see the USB port back there? It's all right. All right, I'm just gonna leave it like that. And then, yeah, you're just in charge over here. I'm ready whenever you are, Commissioner.
Okay. I was just waiting on the good word. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Iron County Commission today. Today's Monday, the 9th of December, 2024, and our last commission meeting of the year. And Marilyn's last commission meeting, which I'm kind of bummed about, but
I'm gonna try to get through it without crying.
I bet somebody this morning that you'd cry.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's fine.
yeah.
Marilyn will cry.
I will.
But that's great. So today we're going to start out with our Pledge of Allegiance from Spencer, our new fire guy, is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Dr. David Blodgett will lead us in the prayer following that.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for the opportunity we have to meet this day. Grateful for those that serve our community here in the Iron County Commission and in the various aspects of government. Grateful for the chance we have to live in a peaceful and organized society where the rule of law prevails. Grateful for this country which we live in, and pray for it to honor the principles upon which it was founded and to continue to stand as a beacon of opportunity. Grateful for this time of year where we reflect on the Savior of the world, and grateful for opportunities to remember those things which bring out the best in us and in others, and pray that we might be true to that spirit. Ask for thy spirit to attend this meeting and for those that serve here. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Let's move ahead with the approval of minutes. So we've got 4 different meetings that
Oh,
we need
there's
to.
4?
What's that?
4?
There are
I only
4.
got 3.
There's 4. So we've got
Oh, wait.
the November 8th, 12th, and 18th,
12th. That's the other one.
and then we've also got the 25th. But I was absent for the 25th, so I'll abstain from that one. So let's do the
We do
first.
two
that was
different-
yours. That
two
was the one I
different
was absent
signed
for.
Motions then?
So let's do the 8th, 12th, and 18th first, if there's any question or discussion.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for November 12th, the 18th, and the 8th.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And a separate
then-
motion for the 25th.
I'll make a motion for the 25th, November 25th.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'll abstain on the 25th.
Yep.
Move on to departmental. Approve a
Approval.
claim for warrants as well.
Oh, yeah. I'll go ahead and make that motion to approve the claims for
Second.
November 25th through the December 8th. And
Moved and seconded.
Seconded.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All right. So we'll move on to our departmental reports. First up is building and zoning, planning, engineer.
Bad names on there.
The report gets shorter every time.
It's shorter. You have the paper. It's been good seeing you. Commissioner Wood has been great working with you. See you around the yard. Sorry. Oh, sitting in a meeting yesterday says, if you can't smile when you're doing it, don't do it. Okay, we can do that then. All right, cover the first page. Just kind of give you an overview of where we're at. So far, this report was as of last Friday, December 6th. We have issued a total of 534 permits year to date. That compares to 496 permits last year at this time. New dwellings alone, we have issued 188 permits compared to 150 last year. Do you have this on your desk?
I don't
You do.
know.
You covered it up and hit it.
Did I? Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. Sorry. I was just going to ask you where mine was.
Was I on time this morning handing paperwork
And
out?
somebody else wasn't.
God. Then she hides it from us. Okay, so we've issued 38 house permits, and that's house permits more than we did last year at this time. And then again, Nate's working on getting his commercial. He is scheduled his plumbing certification for his commercial. Chelsea has scheduled her plumbing. She's certification for residential, so hopefully we get those done and get them all going to help out. Trent, our code enforcement, will be moving over job titles to the first of the year as inspector / code enforcement. So he's starting to work on studying his to get his certifications too now. So, and that will help out a lot with everything else that I will mention briefly as we go on. In the building part of this, we have reviewed 581 projects so far this year. We have completed 3,565 inspections. That stops so far this year. Some of those stops have 2 or 3 or 4 inspections at a time, so lots of work going on there. We've got 3 gas stations, big projects right now that we have. 3 gas stations here in Parowan area. 2 of them have been reviewed, ready to issue. One is for Terribles that will go on the north end of Parowan, at the north interchange. And we have reviewed the Maverick that will go on that south interchange on the west side of the freeway. The annexation, I think, has gone through final. Dan said last week or the week before he was trying to get some documentation cleared up with questions on that. So as soon as they get that all
There's a
cleared up,
Maverick going on the south end of Parowan?
south into Parowan, the west side of the
Side.
freeway, just this side of that cell tower that's out there. They're annexing it just to the north side of Rick Anderson State Line Equipment on that corner right there. They have got lots of work to do with that because they're working with UDOT on the interchange for off-ramp and on-ramp on that side because it's needs some work done to bring in all the traffic that they're looking at there. So there's some work that Maverick is going to be putting up front, money down, lots of money.
For the interchange, they'll have to pay
Interchange,
for some of the interchange work.
yeah, they'll pay for some of the interchange redesign and work on that, and some of the flood drainage stuff that
Yes,
needs to be done with
flood
them.
stuff, yeah.
They've got to extend Parowan's water lines, the sewer line, and power line for Parowan City. So there's a lot of work that Maverick will be putting in money for. They know that it's going to be lots of money. They're willing to do it. As they said, there's a competition between Maverick and Terribles, and they're willing to drop lots of money.
And KB, it's
Yeah.
right across.
That's nothing anymore.
Oh, in Fillmore's gas is $1.99 because there's so many gas stations.
Exactly. So there's a lot of competition between Terribles and Maverick right now. Maverick said they wouldn't go to Nevada, and Terrible said they wouldn't go to Utah, and they both broke
Did.
contracts there. And now they're both each other's, and so it's fun to see what they're going to do to each other.
Yeah, especially if it helps us.
It does. It helps. It'll help a lot of there. So those are the 3 gas stations we have going in. Commerce Crossroads, which is BZI Park out there. We've got one building that is being built. We got 2 TI finishes going in right there. One is their iron depot to sell steel out to customers, and the other is a welding shop for their projects. So that big building that BZI is building right now has 2 tenants that will be moving in there on that one. We have another building for Thomas Harker out in Lakeside, something, industrial park that's off of 56 and 6300 West. They've got a building there with 2 tenants in that will be finishing up within the next 30 days to move their tenants in. One is doing carbon fiber welding helmets, and the other is a maintenance fab shop, something I can't remember. But we got 2 tenants in there. We've issued 3 of the best systems, 3 of the battery energy supply systems at 3 of the solar farms with that check that I told you would come in just shy of $500,000. They started excavating and grading this last week on one of the sites. So they're going to be bringing in there and start doing that. Code enforcement, Trent is working hard to work on different areas in the county to get things cleaned up. He's had several go to the county attorney's office for help there. So he's been doing a lot of work to try to get things cleaned up and working there good for us. Budget right now, we're looking good. We're pushing close. We're pushing close there, but we got a couple projects, and I've heard of one last week. We got another one that come in over the weekend. We got a leaking roof here on this building.
Oh, no.
And if any of you have looked at the roof on this building, it doesn't look pretty.
How
So-
come we didn't do that when
Didn't
we
do
were...
anything with it when
They didn't do that with the remodel?
I'm going to go on to
Just
the
like-
next one.
Just like the...
Yes.
Just like the...
Yeah, just
Elevator.
like the elevator. Yes, I don't know, but we will get a bid to get it recovered.
The whole roof?
Yeah, I don't know. We patched a leak right now, so this will be coming into springtime when it gets better. What it is, it's got a foam spray roof on it that they just come and foam sprayed it, and then they put a rubber sealant paint on it to seal it. It's held up for a long time, but
They did that when they remodeled it?
no, this is
Oh, just-
before that.
It's original.
That.
Original, or they did a patch on it, a little bit of work on it just after the remodel, but just patchwork, and it's showing its age now. So they're going to give us they come and looked at it last Thursday, I think Thane said, did a patch on one spot we think was leaking, where it was leaking. So hopefully we got it so it'll make it through winter time.
You thinking of like a GAF type product?
I'm not sure yet. They're going to give us some options there and give us some bids on that one to see where we're at. I don't know. They might be able to get it pressure washed and cleaned off good enough and dried to reseal it with that coating they've got on it. They give us a good lifetime.
Yeah.
It's been a decent roof. It's interesting if you were to walk up there as to how it ever drained with what it is, because it's a lot of up and down stuff with that spray foam roofing type stuff. So we'll find out. That is a to-come project. I know I hate to do it, but we might have to put a little bit more money that's not been budgeted. I don't know where we're at on the elevator. That remodel that we've been talking about, I've got both elevator companies giving us bids on it now to see if I can get the price down some between them. But we're looking close to 150 for that elevator. That will, knock on wood, bring it up to current standards with everything replaced without the cosmetics on it. They can redo the cosmetics for another $20,000, new face skins, and make it look more modern.
It'll
I don't know that
smell
we need to
better.
go that far. What's
Will
that?
it smell better?
Is it going to get rid of the 1970s vibe when you go in there? It's like a time machine.
No, it's still going to be a time machine, but this time machine will take us to the roof now instead of halfway to the roof.
Oh,
Cover it with some wood panels and call it a day.
Well, I don't think we're going to do anything with the cosmetics, the panels inside. If we get to that point where we want to do a
do
change
it
look inside,
ourselves.
we'll paint it. We'll get some covering to cover inside. But that is a new RAM, pumps, hydraulics, most of it, and it will bring it up to standard. We're still putting money into an old piece of equipment, but they're updating most
lipstick
of the
on
stuff.
a pig.
I didn't want to say that. But they are going to update most of it, bring most of the new equipment and stuff in, so that will help with what it is as far as service call outs, I'm hoping. New control panels inside for the emergency and the ADA purposes there. That's the biggest thing they said. So I'm hoping with what we've talked about, we can come up with the money on that to do that, because we really need to look at that, as we talked about before, as it should have been done before when we did that remodel here. And I think we could have got it done cheaper. So planning, you've seen Reed in and out quite a bit. We still have quite a bit of stuff going on. Maintenance, Thane's been working with our new part-time Landon Wall. He's working out fabulous. He's getting through all the buildings and getting to meet the personnel so that he'll fit in, and he's done a lot of work to help Thane, and he's been a big asset and is picking up quickly on what we have. The big spreadsheet just covers out a lot of what I give you on highlights, that top section. If you want to look at that, 2023, that first set says the fees we collected in 2023 was $500,000. At this time in 2023, this year, at this point, we're at $1.4 million in fees collected. That's just in the county side. If we go down to the next section, you can see that in 2023 with the other towns and stuff we cover, we had, that's not right.
You've made us enough money to pay for this repairs on this building, Terry.
Yeah. We got the money. That's what I said.
Good job.
That's what we said. We've got the money there, but if we go down to the bottom, the other one I wanted to hit was from 2023 for our overall permit fees that we collected from cities and towns and stuff. We are at $608,000 overall at this point, and with the county and all of them combined, we're at $1.5 million this far. So we've collected $900,000 more this year than we did last year at this time. So there's money there. I know we still got to conserve and be safe with what we're doing. But I can tell you right now, we had a meeting with BZI, and I don't know if Mike's got the most current email from BZI, Drake Howell. I visited with him last Wednesday evening, and says that Project Fabian will be back in town this week to do another site visit for the footprint for the park. One step closer, very favorable. They said it's not a positive yet, but we're 90+% to get that project. That's a big project. Mike is a little massive. The building alone is 600,000 square feet. So a little bit bigger than GAF. Big project with what they're doing. We'll bring in some employees. Reed and I met with a company last week that is looking at a data center, big data center coming in. They bought property out by the solar farms already. They're starting to gather definitions and zoning ordinance stuff from different jurisdictions they've worked in to help us on our zoning side, because our ordinance does not define a data center as to where to put it, what requirements to require with it. So they're going to be getting us stuff hopefully by a February meeting. We're not sure yet, but by the first quarter, they're hoping to have things in line where they can submit for a conditional use permit and start. That's my first question.
So you'll need to put some things into an ordinance with that.
But that one, we're pretty comfortable with what they've talked. If they can get us the right stuff, that won't be that hard. But my question to all these companies, if all goes well, knock on wood, what's your projected start? They said fourth quarter, which will be a big project. He threw numbers. We can't tell a lot of stuff, but his numbers are $10 billion in the project through its whole phases. So upwards of 20 buildings, a new power plant for them on site because data center requires a lot of power for them.
What about water? Do they require water?
They
Very little
have
water.
purged very little water
Yeah.
with the new systems they use now because the technology's
Is that
come
out
so
on
far.
Antelope, you said?
No, up on Lund Highway.
Lund Highway.
Lund Highway and Horse Hollow. Thank you.
Oh,
Horse Hollow.
Oh.
Right there on the
North is
corner.
out.
That is 2 miles, about a mile and a half north of the existing solar farms. From 7,000, you're about 4 miles up. They have got to have redundancy in everything they do. Fiber, power, everything.
We'll get a little more road too.
We'll get more road. We'll get a lot more stuff. There's some stuff they want to talk about, but that's a big project. If we can get that one to come in, is there. And like I says, it's a big project. Their power plant is with natural gas generators and stuff. Water they've got right now, I think they said they have 200 acre feet. They're looking at purchasing between 400 and 700 acre feet more and transferring most of that into the Water Conservancy for them and for future use for them and to have for the Water Conservancy. So they've looked into a lot of things. They've talked to Bainbridge, whatever Dominion Power Gas is now. They've worked with them on what it take to do a hot tap to bring the gas line from out at Lund Power. They've started looking at a lot of stuff. They've dropped a lot of money into things right now.
Is that the other water basin, or is that still in our water basin?
It's ours in the Cedar Valley, that side. They've talked to a couple of the landowners out there about water and stuff. So that's our next big project. Talked with Drake Cowell. He's hopefully going to have me some plans to start reviewing their BZI's new office building with groundbreaking midsummer, hopefully. So we have a couple projects going on.
Terry.
Big ones. And we know we've got some more industrial stuff coming in. BZI's got a lot of stuff they're talking. So I'm hoping to keep my head above water, even with my other inspectors. So is there anything we can do? We need to do, other than cut down on some of the expenses on what this building is taking at this time.
It is.
So
It is
hopefully
what it
I will
is.
know more this week on the roof, and then we can go from there. I know you got to do the budget. We'll just have to look at that as to when we come in. Okay? Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, Terry. Thank
Commissioner
you.
Wood, it's been good working with you.
Thank you.
I will be working with you still around.
I know.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Rich, come on down.
Hey, good morning. Sorry to see you go, Commissioner Wood. We've enjoyed our time together. I have. I still enjoy Mike and Paul, but they don't ever bring lunch.
I know.
Well, so the engineering department's.
You haven't told Ken that's in his job description.
Hope he can cook.
I did when he got elected. I said that to him actually. I hope you're the new lunch lady. Anyway, so almost every building that the building department has done, we've done an address for. So we've been busy on that side of it. But the bigger projects are. And let me just report on one of them and not take a lot of time. So we got that approval for Iron Springs Road last April that we had received that. We put in for $9,925,000. We received a little over $7 million on that project, and I've been pushing, and this last week we got a project manager for that from UDOT, which is a big deal because now we can do it and get started on the design phase and rolling that in.
Are Are they going to
Actu-
match our 7 million UDOT?
Not.
No, our biggest challenge is our match will be part of that. But there have been a few things going on out on Iron Springs Road. I mentioned to the regional engineer in Richfield that the high T was going in and asked how that was going to work together on 56 and Iron Springs Road. He is not from the area, so he didn't see him connected until that moment, which time he said we'll move the high T forward, or tried to move it. It was scheduled to be funded for 2026, so they're going to
So
move
we'll
it
try to do that.
For
at
the
same
Y.
time. Same
They'll
time.
start to fund it for 2025 so that it becomes part of the design process, so that we're not designing this over here and this over here with
It's all together.
20-foot air gap.
What are they looking at there, Rich? What have they landed on? Are they at one time they
A
were
high
looking
T.
at roundabout, but now they're a,
It's a high T.
Now I talked to
what is? Yeah, explain that. I don't know.
Okay, so the high T on 56, what that does is, and I just looked at this again. So through traffic will be going east and west on 56 on its dedicated lanes, but a high T means there will be a barrier down the middle, so that you can't cross over for.
So it's a merge lane with a barrier.
Right. There will be a merged lane onto Iron Springs that will be dedicated. That once you're there, you're there. Don't get out of that right-hand lane because you're forced to turn right. And people coming out of Iron Springs Road will have a gap to stop in so they can proceed. It won't be that they can't turn left off of Iron Springs Road. It's that there's an island there that will keep the traffic from mingling, as it were. So that's what a high T is. It's a barrier system. There will be no signalization. That was found to be not beneficiary, and costs for that weren't justified because the high T would work. We did talk about a roundabout, but the roundabout didn't change safety. In fact, it was the same as a high T, but the costs were about $3 million more for the roundabout.
So when our belt route comes across up to
On
the
57.
west, that may change things. I don't know.
It might change some things there.
Yeah, they may relook at that time.
That's right. We are planning that. That hasn't happened yet. There's a lot of interest in the belt route now, of course, with everything that, as Terry just mentioned, Fabian's coming back for a second look, and actually to talk about locations out there. So that's a good thing. More activity out on Iron Springs Road is going to press the issue that we need the belt route.
Yeah.
We're seeing quite a bit of interest. So
Now we're going to have a roundabout by that industrial park, right?
there by Frank Nichols' property. Mm-hmm.
Just barely like a mile up the road from where you turn off, or is that 2 miles?
Yes,
or-
about a mile, maybe less,
little-
3/4 of a mile, because the belt route comes through there right on 57, and will go up the property line of DeMille's turf farm.
Mhm.
That's the intended location, and then up the west of the Bullock solar farm.
So will
to
the
Sage Hill.
belt route come into that roundabout? It won't. will it?
Yes.
Oh, it will.
Yes, that's why the
That's why
roundabout
the
was
roundabout.
determined, was to keep the traffic flow for the belt route, and so there. I went on I spent an hour and a half with Justin Christensen, who's the UDOT project manager on this. We drove up and down Iron Springs Road. I pointed out where the roundabout would be. We measured out where the design for the high T will stop, and where the Iron Springs Road will begin. The trouble with Iron Springs Road, as I wrote in my request for the funding, was that is an old wagon road back in the day, and every iteration has just been put something else on top of an old wagon road,
Yeah.
put something else on top of an old wagon road.
Well, and
Let's
there's no
pave that
base.
old wagon
There's no
road.
base underneath that road.
It's a mix match of base. In fact, the core samples that Steve took showed asphalt, road base, and asphalt. That's not a good mix. That's not how a secure road is built. So we don't know until we do some more potholing and see what the condition of the road is, whether we will have to over-X, how far we'll over-X, and what it'll be.
So on the high T, I have a question. On the high T, they won't have to buy any real estate around that.
That's correct. That was the savings.
That was one of the, yeah.
Yeah, and we had suggested that 53 come out and stop coming out, but they said they wouldn't need that. They would have preferred it, but you know, if that had become a cul-de-sac, I think we would have had some resistance.
Yeah.
So when I applied for the $9,925,000, that was all the way out to WECO. So $7+ million plus our contribution. I was talking to Bruce, if we can get it to the landfill,
That would be
big bonus.
awesome.
If we can get it to the shooting range road or to the railroad crossing, anything past the landfill is icing on the cake, but let's get it to the landfill is our goal, and I asked the project manager that we do that. We talked about Sage Hill Road coming into it and what will be needed there. Savage has paved their portion and are committed to pave the other portion to the Y. I too met with Drake and talked about what they're going to do from the Ashdown gravel pit to crossing there. And then Bruce and I will come in and discuss what the county's portion will be. When they get to that point, we'll chip seal out to 56. But by that time, I hope we have a plan on 56, because I think Sage Hill is going to need a turnout as well as a deceleration lane. The business. I was talking to Savage, and they're hoping that in the next 2 years they'll have 1,000 pickups and deliveries.
Oh, wow.
And
Busy.
so that's a big deal. And of course, if we could push them east to a belt route, that would even be better. That'd even be better. But we have to gain the rest of that. First thing is to get a belt route, then we'll talk about the connectors to it. So pretty excited. We'll be starting in January to come up with a plan for Iron Springs Road and a construction schedule. I also pointed out to Justin where I think we should probably have a school bus pull out that will be safer, and there where it's already pulling out, but we would build that up and pave it as well. And I would like to see that for the safety of the kids and for the betterment of the bus pull out. So there's places where we want to widen Iron Springs Road. Big question is that we were discussing, and we're still scratching our heads. We talked to Bruce. He was on the phone with us. He's standing out in his yard while we were looking at it. But whether we put in a turn lane and a center lane from Bowman's to the landfill or somewhere in there, but I do not want to make an hourglass looking turn lane where it comes in and out just because we're crossing Bowman's and then Irons Resorts, and they're all right
Landfill
there.
Yeah.
So it looks like we'll probably have a little more expense through that section. Coming around that curve at Bowman's is probably, as Bruce said, that's where the wrecks are most likely to happen, is people at Bowman's trying to turn in and people coming around that corner at 55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So that's, do you have any questions? Because I have other things I could say, but they're less important probably to the commission and the public than Iron Springs Road.
Just, you want to just report real quick on the
800?
800 drainage?
Yes, we got that. We increased the culvert sizes out there from 24 inches to 30 inches, which is almost a 50% volume increase. It's amazing what 6
Took
inches
care
will
of
do.
the entrance to the college farm as well as
The substation.
substation. Rocky Mountain
Right.
Bell.
So we're talking about on 800 at the substation. We put in 105 feet of culvert so that we caught both entrances of both the SUU farm and the substation on the east side, and then we put in 50 feet of culvert, so we caught the other entrance to the substation. I asked Rocky Mountain Power if we could eliminate one of their accesses, but because it's a tiered substation, the east side is a couple feet higher than the west side. It just steps up and down. Those big transformers, when they come in, would not like to climb even a couple of feet in such a short distance, so they needed both entrances. We tried to eliminate one, but we couldn't. So in fact, Commissioner and I talked, Garrett's going to clean the ditch here in the next couple weeks before the spring runoff. We're starting to look at spring runoff. Had a conversation with George on Friday, asked him to buy another 50,000 sandbags. Just never know. Just like to have them on hand, buy them while they're not a hot commodity, but available. So he'll cycle the ones we have forward and put the new ones in the back. So we'll put that in our special flood projects for this year, because there's enough money to do that and be prepared for next year.
I have a question. I was going to report on the safe streets. Will you talk a little bit about that?
That is a great thing.
Because I
Thank you.
attended that meeting, and it was...
So for those who don't know, Safe Streets for All is a federally funded program in which Congress has committed $5 billion to improving safety. They've recognized that accidents happen, so they're not trying to eliminate accidents. They're trying to eliminate fatalities and severe accidents. And there's a difference in there. And so we received a grant. We have $600,000 for a study. Studies always make people say, why are you studying? Why don't you just fix it? Well, the feds require that we have a plan before we can fix. So our study is to make find out what's actually happening, where it's actually happening, and then come up with a next phase, which is solutions and implementations. So we have focus areas that we've created with our consultant, Kimley Horn, in which Eastern Iron County is one focus area. Parowan is another. Parowan's part of Eastern Iron County. Enoch is one of the focus areas. Cedar City is a focus area, and Newcastle is a focus area. So we kind of looked at it geographically and created these focus areas. And what we would like the public to do is to go online to our. We have posters around. We've got a place where you can sign in and actually look at a map of roads in Iron County. It's a really simple process. You look at the road, you can pin it with either a bike, walking, or car, say what kind of transportation issue you see there. We want to hear about the near misses. We have all the crash data. That's not hard. Law enforcement provides crash data. Our consultant has that. What we want to know is where you almost got hit or where you're constantly having to be cautious, because those are the areas that don't show up on crash data. And so with those, we can look at how we could improve those locations. And one of the, out in Newcastle, and then from Sheriff Carpenter, we got some real good insight. For example, on 5600, Highway 56, where almost all those roads that connect to 56 from 7700 West, the Lake Road, out to Newcastle, they're almost all near misses. Haven't had any accidents, but they're near misses on the roads that come in, like the Pinto Road, because because you're not hit doesn't mean it's not dangerous. The other thing that was brought to our attention, which we hadn't considered, was a climbing lane going west. A lot of people pass slow-moving vehicles trying to get up. That's a long, slow crawl up to the top of the summit there. Mm-hmm. And so those will be all part of the safety report. And with that information, then solutions will be looked at. For example, a slow traffic lane on that slow climb to Newcastle. Would be a prime example of
That
a
doesn't
solution.
seem like it's that big of a climb, but when we've hauled cattle up on there, it is a climb.
Or when you get behind a cement truck
Oh, yeah.
and you'd
Or
like
a cattle
to go the
truck.
speed limit. Yeah, exactly. And so that's pretty cool, that the study, and we've targeted the areas. It is a safe street for all of Iron County. We are the sponsors with our partners with the municipalities.
So isn't there another meeting that residents could come and
We will put that out. We will put out the advertising.
it'll be on
in
our
January.
website?
It'll be on our website. We'll put out notifications. We have posters and things like that. We're hoping through the Christmas season that people, while they're waiting in line, like at Festival Hall or other places, will take the time to look at it. It's like a questionnaire, 10 quick questions. But really, what's really key to that is the interactive map, which anyone can put a pin and say, hey, at this corner, I can't see very well.
Yeah.
There's an issue, and some of those issues might be really easily solvable. Others will need a solution, and what we asked our consultant to do is to look at how we could take a solution that was at a specific location, that if another location looks just like it, we can presume it will have a similar problem, and we can just start to cookie cut the solutions onto the other locations that as traffic increases and grows. So thank you, Commissioner.
Yep.
I got a few things on my mind, and Safe Streets for All wasn't one of them, but that is a big
It's a good one.
project and big initiative. We hope to have the study done by April so that we can put an application in for implementation money for next year, because that's the way the process works. Once the study's done, then we can hit up and go to Federal Highway Administration for an implementation funding and grants.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks.
Public Works. Come on down, Bruce. Thanks.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. There's just a couple things. We'll start with the landfill. We're getting close to having all the information we need to file our year-end permit. Just finish the days out. Our water samples are done. And we're contracted with a company to help us finalize that. It's the last year of that, and so we'll go through an RFP next year again with contracting that company. The next one down
Everything
is
good on the water samples?
yeah, we were good so far. New program coming from the DQ. They visited all the landfills. They came to ours. They separated the waste. They have it segregated into paper, plastic, all these things. One thing they did find, and that we knew that was there, was a lot of electronics. And it's not like computers and TVs, but things with batteries in them. They had a 5-gallon bucket.
Hoverboards.
Huh?
Hoverboards.
Hoverboards are bad. But they had a 5-gallon bucket of vapes, e-cigarettes.
Oh, wow.
And they've actually have found that they're one of the largest culprits to fires. So because of that, they're starting and they're working with us fairly well with the landfill managers to figure out a statewide recycle program on those things. Right now we're going back and forth between, like an 18-volt battery, cordless drill battery. Is that going to be part of it or not? The state doesn't want to have it. The landfills do, because there's really nowhere to recycle your. Is it called a vape?
Yeah.
There's nowhere to recycle it. Yeah, your e-cigarette. There's nowhere to recycle them lithium-ion batteries. There's nowhere to recycle your hoverboard. Toothbrushes have them lithium-ion batteries. There's just so many things. And so they're kind of coming up with a program where every landfill will kind of pay by the ton. They'll come gather them up and figure that out at a state. I hope that's what they do. But I hope they don't stop at just small things. I hope we were able to recycle cordless drill batteries as well. Our new employees are catching on fairly quick. We got three brand new ones, and they don't have CDLs. One of them partially tested, and so he's got another test coming up, and then he'll have a CDL. But the other three don't. Hopefully we can get that done sooner than later. We had one employee quit, Luke. He was the driver, so we really need CDL drivers. We're hoping that them guys come in. Our equipment's good. Our budget's good. We're still working with the DEQ on the rural landfills and tires. But Senator Vickers and who was the other?
Chi.
Chi?
Representative Chi, I think
Yeah.
it was.
He was from like
north.
Vernal somewhere. Yeah, we're still working with them, and I'm still getting the emails
we'll
back
need
from Doug Hansen.
legislation
Yeah.
to be able to change the tire.
That's what we're hoping.
situation.
And Marilyn met with the one meeting. I think it was a good meeting. I think we made a difference. Hopefully it'll go through, and we really get to make that difference. Fires continue to be a problem. Not as bad as some landfills. I talked to Jaron Scott over at
How is that?
Ranch Jordan landfill in Salt Lake County, and he said they're having 4 a week.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They're everywhere's plagued with them, and we believe it's because of these electronic
Batteries.
things, that the batteries that are coming in. But we're still trucking along. The landfill looks good. If you come there, it looks sharp. Jeremy and the crew have done a really good job keeping it clean. We did have a surprise inspection. Kelly came down the same day those people were segregating the waste and seeing what was there. As far as I know, it went really well. She had all she wanted, but I haven't gotten that report back yet. So all's well until you hear, I guess. No,
Yeah.
it's good. Going on to the road department, we're working on the Little Eden subdivision right now. That's our part of the CJC agreement to pave those 2 roads. We've got a big it turned into a lot more just because Enoch has so much drainage coming down there that we've been working with Rich, and he's got us a plan to pipe the water underneath the road. There's just a lot of things in the road to move. There's a irrigation line, the gas line. Enoch Cities has a irrigation and a culinary water line. So we was hoping to do that in December, but it just didn't work out. We're probably going to have to get some help, hire out some help on that. But that'll probably happen maybe January, February. The BLM trails up at Hamlin Valley and State Line, they're done. We was able to finish that. We did get the money from FEMA. I don't think we've received it all yet, but they approved it and it hasn't come, but they will. And so we rented a dozer. We was up there for about probably a month, 2 or 3 guys, and it looks good. It really made a difference out there.
We'll have to get out there. That was a mess.
Yeah,
I've never seen such devastation.
This is Gold Springs, or is this Hamlin?
Oh,
Valley
this
Road?
is Hamlin
This is
Valley.
by State
Well,
Line.
Old Springs. It's
What kind
down.
of dozer did you rent?
We rented a little 6 with a 6-way, so that we could turn the material around. It was nice, and it was. We still should be able to use some of that money on the Gold Springs as well, because we didn't use as what we thought we were. But it turned out good. There's a few ranchers out there. Brad
Bowler.
Brad was really happy. It really is infrastructure for him to get in and out of where he runs his cattle.
He was having to go clear around.
He was having to go clear around or just ride a horse for miles and miles before
Yeah,
you got
because there was
there.
no
You couldn't get a
passable
four-wheeler.
road.
No. Some of the ledges that had eaten away on the roads were as high as this ceiling. And so, yeah, we might have to go back and tune them up a little bit but for the most part, there was the bad fire out there, and then it rained on top of the snow and flooded us out. But it's good now.
Bad.
Looks good now. Also in Modena Canyon, there's a proposed mine site out there. We're working on the MOU. Rich and myself and Sam have been. I emailed that MOU to PCI on Friday. They said they'd look at it, but we're trying to get going forward with that as soon as we can. That it's not a really big deal, but it kind of is for out there, because we could utilize some of that area that we haven't for good stuff. That mine would be a good thing out there.
Did you find a gravel pit? Have they located a gravel pit for you yet?
No,
We don't have a
because-
gravel pit up in that area.
I talked to Ed Januvas, and he was really anti-gravel pit because the normal part of that canyon isn't wilderness, but it's wilderness-like
Characteristics.
characteristics.
And
that's
they
right.
they're right in the process of changing that to be like, I'm hoping with the Trump administration, they will take that back away, because it was never supposed to be
wilderness.
wilderness. And now they're changing it from characteristics, which you still could do anything on that, to not be unable to.
Yeah.
It was pretty much just like wilderness.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Because it was wilderness-like, they said, well, it's really hard. Ed's leaving at the end of this month, so the first of the year we'll have somebody new. Hopefully with the Trump administration, that'll open it up. He did give us an opportunity to look at one at the very top where Savaya's got that one, just a little closer to the canyon than hers, and then at the bottom by the cemetery. So we'll take those two. I said, get them on there. Let's get them
Yeah.
going. But
Yeah.
something in the center would
Is there
really
overburden?
make a difference.
Is there overburden on those? Not
Not
much,
a
is
lot.
there?
Not a lot. But yeah, there is. But
There is
it's
some.
manageable.
Yeah.
Foot or two. So hopefully that works out too.
The other thing is, explain to everybody what that is. That's really exciting to me, because of the potash that we don't get from the coal-fired power plants now that they're shutting all those down. This will be additive for concrete.
It's a
And they
concrete
said
additive.
that
Fly ash or
fly
ash,
like
yeah.
a fly ash, yeah, and this will substitute for that, which we got to have it for our cement, and they figured it would be better than the fly ash. Yeah,
It's a
Pretty
it's a
interesting.
material, and I really think the mine will happen. Just it's kind of hard for the mining company, because that road, they're going to have to maintain the road and fix the road themselves
year round,
Yeah, year round.
which we close it down in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm. So we'll be able to blade it the two or three times a year that we're there. But hopefully they can go off to the side. There's a few spots the corners need taken off, a few grades that need softened, and then a lot of it that needs widening. And so I
Which
hope.
will make it better for the
Everybody.
residents going up and down
But it is exciting
to
part. They
Hamlin Valley.
hope the drilling they did would show close to years at least, and they don't know what's below it. So that'd be nice to have a mine out there, a 20-year mine for sure. That replaces something that's being shut down. It's not too long before they were telling us that the Delta power plant's going to be shut down, and the fly ash that comes from theirs.
What we
what
use
they're-
here.
Yeah, what we use here. The one in Fredonia, or Page, I guess it was in Page, that shut down, hurt them with fly
The
ash.
owner is so innovative. I mean, he just looks for these things. He
Does.
sends these people, his geologists, out and said, "Find me something that will replace this." It's
Was
really
Pretty
cool.
exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a hustler.
Yep.
So this says we're going to be down 6 employees next week, but that includes Luke from the landfill. Really having a hard time retaining help at both places. We might need to look at something different there. We're working with the BLM over on Schertz's Canyon Road. They put in that campground, and it's
And now they're going to double it.
yeah, now they're doubling
They're
it as
getting it
well, and so
bigger.
that road is just getting impacted differently than it has historically.
And there's residents on that road.
Yeah, the residents are complaining. We gave the BLM the gravel to fix it and the cattle guards to fix it. They was supposed to start today, but now, and thank you to Rich. He has given Garrett to haul as well. Garrett will haul with them guys on that road.
Nice.
Man, they pushed back quite a bit. I hope they get it done. They said they was going to start today, and now it turned into tomorrow. But we'll see how that works. We're going to be doing some pothole repair. We haven't been able to get much done. The construction's world has kept the hot plants going with hot mix. So it's that time of year where they're trying to squeeze every last bit of work in they can. So they're going to make cold mix for us next week, that we can start repairing some potholes. There's surprising, not too bad, but the ones that are there are bad. So today we're hauling down to Little Eden, and we've got to move some pipes down there. So we're going to Five Town to do a little cleanup down there. We got to haul some gravel, some type 2 down to Five Town and clean them up. We finished the Jones Road out to Newcastle, in between Newcastle and Burrell, and it actually goes all the way through from the Bench Road to 56. It looks good. There is a new rule come from the state. They sent Rich and I the information, and any road, any paved road that's 35 miles an hour or faster is going to require striping. No, 35. If it's 36 miles an hour, you have to have striping. So there's a few roads that we have. 4,000 is one of them that will probably just drop down to 35. It just depends. But it's not really going to add a ton of work to us, but it's something that's going to be rotating. You know, the striping only lasts maybe 2 years. So we'll have to continue to do that.
That'll be cost.
Yeah, just some
costly.
cost. I'm guessing it'll probably add another $20,000 to $30,000 every other year compared to what we're doing now. It's not a huge impact, but it's kind of discouraging. They keep coming up with more unfunded mandates.
Exactly.
So, but it probably won't kill us. Just another thing, right? But it's not one thing; it's 10.
Yep.
Goes.
So true.
And Commissioner Wood, we'll miss you. Thank you for your service, and we appreciate your attitude on freedom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Nope. Thanks, Bruce.
Bruce?
Dr. Blodgett. Come on down.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. I recognize my report's a little different than everybody else's, and I even have a typo on my slide, so I apologize for that. But grateful. Our organization, as you know, is a 5-county organization, so we serve Washington, Iron, Beaver, Kane, Garfield counties, and so there was wisdom in setting it up like that because we benefit a lot from the infrastructure that way, and we don't have to staff and administrative structure, over those 5 counties. I think Iron County benefits a lot from that structure, but I think it also, as this area continues to boom and grow, it's creating, a real infrastructure issue for us. So we're facing the COVID cliff like everybody else, but for us, that's about a 20% of our budget kind of issue, and so we're. I think we've been very wise in not growing our staff on that money. We've used it for other things, but I think, I'll point to what that means here. So I'm grateful for Commissioner Cousins, his leadership on the board, and all he's done there. Also grateful to have known you, Commissioner Wood, appreciate what you've done for us and for the community. You came in right in the middle of COVID and you slugged it all out. It was great. Great in a terrible way, I guess. So, so as we look at how to structure the department, we've actually pulled most of our staffing out of those smaller counties, and we cover them out of our counties here. So there is a little bit of a benefit to our county in that we've maintained the structure of our services while covering the services out of Beaver, mostly Beaver and Garfield County out of Iron County. So rather than try and maintain staffing in all of those places with the decreases, we staff here, send them over and cover that way, and it's working just fine. And I think the benefit for you is we continue to have a full-time staff here that can, maintain the services there that we need. We're seeing a growth in those services. Our WIC numbers are up by about 20% over the low right before COVID. We were doing more shots and all of that, but it's just a matter of trying to balance that out. That's been difficult for us. Less money, more to do. Not what everybody is doing. So I'm going the wrong way. Sorry.
But it feels upside down.
Yeah, it does. But I so in all of that, we're seeing this increase in life expectancy, right? That's what public health's all about. If you go back to 1900, anybody know what the life expectancy was in 1900? 45.
Oh, wow.
Goodness.
So now you can see we're all the way up to almost 90 for women particularly. And so I think people have forgotten where we came from. And some of the rhetoric around COVID made us forget just what exactly public health's all about. So you know this, and we know that, and we talked about this many times over this pulpit, that COVID was a politically manufactured event. It wasn't really about public health. Unfortunately, it's easy to throw public health under the bus because we don't have a very good voice, and so it's all about public health right now, and everybody's taking it out on public health. So you look at I'm going to come back to this slide, but I want to talk a little bit about this COVID Select Committee out of Congress. I don't know if you saw that this report came out last week, but they made the conclusion that a lot of what happened in COVID wasn't good, that Fauci didn't make good recommendations, that there was a lot of things that were going on, that people were being censored on Facebook and things and called false information that were actually true, including the possibility that it was a leak out of the Wuhan lab and all that kind of stuff. So if you get a chance to kind of peruse the speaking points from this, it's very interesting, and it highlights the fact that it wasn't really a public health event, it was a political event. And that was really the problem we were trying to face here, right? And we recognized that early on, and Commissioner Cousins was really great about helping us make those points. So if you get a chance to take a look at that, it's really so it's bipartisan, but of course the media is saying, oh, it's all just the Republicans, so it'll never see the light of day. Nobody talks about it, but it was 2 million pages of documents they went through. The report itself is over 600 pages. So if you want to go to sleep sometime, that thing. But it's helpful to feel just a little bit vindicated about how we approached it versus others, So. Yep. Here is what we still are dying from in our area, and it's not changing. And this is the kinds of things I think we want to get back to talking about. 2/3 of American men will have heart disease at some point in their life, and about a half. That's what we really need to be looking at, is what do people really die from, and we've been distracted from that. Our funding post-COVID will be lower than pre-COVID and all of that. But I think as we right the ship and try and get away from that discussion, I think we're going to be a lot better off. And so I'm grateful for your support as we head in that direction. I'm going the wrong way again. Sorry. This is the curves for flu in the blue. Yellow is why am I blanking? RSV in kids, and then the black is COVID. So you see we have a little bit of an uptick of COVID, but now COVID almost non-existent by the time you get here. We've already had our COVID spike for the year. Did everybody pay attention? Should we close the schools down or something for that? Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm being sarcastic. But we haven't seen flu show up this year. So the guess is that we'll have a pretty significant flu year again this year. So something to be aware of as you go forward. This is the COVID curve. We can't do a presentation without a COVID curve, right? So you can see as it tapers off, it's part of the landscape. Are we going to have COVID for the rest of our lives? Yes, we will. It'll be part of the landscape. Will we see people talking about it? Perhaps not here, but the rest of the country. There's still schools in New York State that are required to mask. It's unbelievable, some of the politics around this thing.
Such a lie.
Yeah, it's such an amazing thing. So, but then we still have flu. And I've never understood why we try to dismantle the country over COVID, but we just don't pay attention to flu, because this is where the real numbers are. Probably 10% of the country gets it every year. A bunch of them end up in the ER and sick, but about somewhere around probably 60 to 100,000 deaths every year from flu, and we just don't even pay attention to it, right? So in this area, cancer, our second highest rate of deaths, and we're not improving. I worry about that. We need to figure out how to crack the cancer code. As everything else is coming down, heart disease, a little bit of a decrease and stuff like that, cancer still keeps going up. And maybe it's a function of we're getting a little older, but I think we need to get back to saying, there are ways that you can prevent cancer that we just haven't talked about for a long time. So we will continue to deal with the growth issues, right? I mean, the same kinds of things you're talking about, the things we deal with. There's more restaurants, pools, all the things that we deal with to try and help keep that in line. What you don't want is a headline that hits the national press of, deaths from a bad restaurant kind of situation in Zion, so nobody comes here anymore, those kind of things. And so we recognize that's where we need to be paying our attention and making sure that happens. And our magazine continues, which I think is our best venue for getting information out to people, and I think that's been very well received in the community. Low cost, high impact. It goes to every home in the district, and I think that's been very beneficial for us. We asked the board last time what it is they want to see more of, and maybe you can feed back into that. But they said it's all about information. They want the information to be available out there. So we'll continue on that. We have a good staff that puts out really award-winning information. We won Best of State with our magazine just recently again, and we'll continue to do that. So we're happy to be here, happy to serve, happy to be your health officer. Glad you're part of this organization where we can maximize the resources we have, and thank you for your support.
Question for you, Dr. Blodgett.
Any questions? Yeah.
You never know what to believe when you read stuff, right? Especially on social media. But I was looking at the different inoculations they give infants, newborns. Are they giving newborns COVID shots?
No, nothing is.
Because that list said it did, and I thought.
Yeah, nothing is even licensed younger than 6 months in infants. There is. So this is where. That's one of the things that the COVID Commission said is, why are you pushing vaccinations there? Because it just didn't impact infants, right? I mean, there wasn't probably a single death nationwide ever.
Young ones,
even
young,
under the age of 18.
Youth at all, right?
But it has negatively impacted them.
It can, and so it's been a real frustration to me when a group says, "Hey, we're the science. You need to follow us," and then they don't follow the science. It really, really bothers me. And
difficult.
Like I say, public health's taken a real beating over what really is a political issue, not a science issue. And when you co-opt science in the name of politics. And so this approach where you say, well, everybody has to do it, we can't refine our message at all and say, if you're over 85, yeah, maybe, COVID shots make a lot of sense, and probably all of us getting 1 or 2 wasn't a bad thing. But to continue to say everybody needs every new booster that comes out, I think is really a bad message. So
Good to hear that.
I'd just like to say thank you so much. Through my
thank you.
time, I saw your leadership with COVID. It was so heartfelt that you'd push back because we knew it was political.
Yeah.
We knew it was so political, and I think the way that our county handled it was way better than a lot of other counties that suffered.
You're kind, Commissioner. Thank you. And it's support from this commission and on the other commissions and our board, and we were able to have discussions that were honest and open, and that thank you.
Big time.
I truly will miss seeing you around here.
Yeah.
We'll get together though. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Appreciate the opportunity to serve as your health officer.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Commission.
You
I'm
gonna
going to go Paul first, Marilyn. You get
Thank you.
Right. Been working a lot with Layton Construction on an issue this week with the crossing of the railroad. We have a sewer line, a 10-inch sewer line that's got to go underneath it's a spur that's owned by Cedar City, but they've got an MOU with Union Pacific. We've been having some meetings. We've got to hire an engineer, Horrocks engineer. We've contracted with them haven't contracted yet, but they're going to get us a proposal, but we will be working with them on anytime you cross the railroad lines, it's a big deal, and so we're working on that with Platt and Platt Engineering. So I've been involved in that. The County Planning Commission this week was good. I really appreciate our Planning Commission, those that serve on that and volunteer their time. It's a thankless job, and Reed for all your leadership there and others. We've, as Dr. Blodgett said, we meet often with 5 County. We'll be having a 5 County meeting down in St. George this Wednesday, kind of our wrap-up year-end meetings with a lot of those entities. And then I attended our Cedar Beaver watershed meetings this last couple weeks, and that was good. So, and that's all I have.
Marilyn. I'm gonna forgo I'm gonna give you the last laugh in the interest of time. You
Okay.
wrap it up.
Like Paul said, we've been having jail meetings. They've made a mock cell, which was really cool to actually see before they make it in cement. They just did it in wood. Shows the bunks and the different things, and making sure that they can climb up on the bed and that kind of thing. That was interesting to me. I also attended a Diamond Z Arena additional plan. The addition that they're going to put on the Diamond Z, the county has been involved with that because, I was on the board while I've been in commission, and then Maria with the tourism was able to help them out with funding to be able to do that addition. They've gotten outside fundings from individuals and different things, and so that's going to be a really big thing. They'll be able to have a lot more big events there with this addition, and so that's going to be really nice. So in closing, this is a bittersweet day today. Mike, bet everybody that I'd cry, and I did. I will. It's been the pleasure of my life to serve here. It really has. Some of it hasn't been fun. It's probably the hardest job I've ever had. But the privilege of my life. And I would tell people to think about running. You really, really get your hands in the muck. And you really get to see what's going on in your community. a lot of times when people complain about us, we say we'll run. Oh, I would never do that. You know, I don't know that I would have ever, but I was in the position that I was able to. This will be my third time retiring, and hopefully the last, other than my husband doesn't think I'll ever retire from our ranch, but I want to tell Paul and Mike how much I've enjoyed them and been able to serve with them. And all of the elected officials, John and all the others, and the sheriff. And Bruce, I'm glad he's here today because he's been one of my favorite people to serve with. He calls me all the time. Some of my other department heads don't, but we talk almost daily. I'm going to miss that a lot. He's such a great man. Anyway, like I said, it's a bittersweet day today, and I appreciate everybody and thank you for letting me have this time to serve my community. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I take a sec?
Absolutely.
I wanted to, on behalf of all of us, wanted to
My
present Marilyn with
goodness.
this plaque. It says, Marilyn Wood, in appreciation of your leadership as an Iron County Commissioner, 2020 to 2024. So
Oh,
you got to
thank
stand
you.
up and give us a hug.
Thank you.
All right. Let's take, what time is it? Let's come back at 10:30. Our 10 o'clock calendar. We'll get I would.
Ellen might be, if she doesn't burn out.
That'll be a busy job.
That'd be really cool. John, you stink of lunch.
You're rolling.
Smells like barbecue.
Oh, wait. Oh, we're good.
Are we going?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back.
Oh,
Oh, you're not good.
let's
Let
have
me
some.
unmute you.
Were we live or we dead?
No,
It was dead.
It
Hello.
was dead.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to move ahead with our 10 o'clock calendar. I get my glasses on so I know what we're doing. Agenda item number 1 at 10 o'clock is a public hearing regarding the amendments to the 2024 budget. I would assume someone from the auditor's
I believe that's
office.
Carrie. I think Luke's out of town.
Yeah, Luke's out
It
of
was
town.
dark in there except for Carrie and August. And Carrie said something about she was going to be back. Hey, Bruce, will you run grab Carrie in the auditor's office? Please?
Well, surely
She's not
we have
answering.
Somebody lined up to do that.
Well, when I was in there signing, she said, I'll be back. I'll be in there in a little while. So
Oh,
for something.
Well, she's got a deal later.
maybe she got hung up like I did this morning by the tongue.
I can go through it. I've got it here.
Let's see if
See if she makes.
if she's lined out.
Yeah.
Maybe she's not there. Carrie
Carrie.
Christensen.
Bruce just went to get her.
I would gladly take Carrie's spot if we wanted to reverse. I'm last.
Reverse. Yeah.
Get up here. Come on down.
Let's do it. Oh, there she is.
Okay. No. Hey, Candace, come
Candace,
back.
you
Come
can.
back. Come back. Come back. Come
Let's
back.
do
Come back.
yours.
Absolutely.
Okay, good morning. How are you guys?
Good.
Really
Good.
good. Hold on. Hold on. Which
Okay.
number are you?
We're approving I'm last.
10.
Very last 10.
I wasn't kidding.
We're going to move to agenda item number 10, discussion and possible approval of adopting the public defender contracts for 2025.
Okay, there's been some changes in the public defender contracts. There's been 2 that have stepped down, and then so we had to replace those, which we've done so, and they've accepted our offer. So we're asking to approve the contracts from the commission.
Great. Who are the two new ones?
So,
And who left and who came?
okay, Shane Manueli left.
Okay.
Again.
Again. I know. Franklin Katchkey left.
Uh-huh.
They're going to be replaced by a prosecutor from St. George, which is Mark Barlow.
He's the one we interviewed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cliff Gravett is going to cover the contract that Franklin had. Franklin has the IDC grant funded contract. Trying to think of the other changes. And then Jeff and Ryan are going to continue. We renewed their contract, so no changes there. But Ryan Nelson will continue and Jeff Slack will continue.
Okay.
Very good.
All right.
I think that was me. I would move for approval of the adoption of the public defender contract for 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
You're done.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for speaking up. I'd have felt bad if we got to the end and it was just you left for that. Carrie.
She's busy. She needs to go get to work.
Okay, so what are we discussing?
Number 1, public hearing regarding
Adjustments?
amendments to the 2024 budget.
So most of these adjustments are grant changes, and then some of them are vehicle transfers from department to department. So I'm not quite sure what you want me to go over individually.
How many are there?
How many adjustments?
Yeah.
How many vehicles?
Big old list.
Well, this spreadsheet doesn't show me.
It's got 2 pages worth of adjustments. They're on the screen now.
Yeah. And they don't. He did for some reason. There's not line items, so I don't know how many there are without counting each of these rows,
Okay.
which is terrible.
Probably 50.
Also included is a majority of these are the solar rebates and incentive payments that you'll see on that second page. are those payments and adjustments to those for the tax increments and the incentive payments back to the solar companies.
There was a little in the election department we had to increase for overtime,
Yes.
and then we actually got reimbursed for some of it, but we had extra on expenses for equipment and things like the drop boxes and stuff. But most of that was reimbursed by the state.
Yeah, and then really a majority of these are grant adjustments because we received more money for grants than we originally projected. So there's some adjustments, and then again line items for vehicle transfers for maintenance and transfers of vehicles from departments to the fleet and back from the fleet to other departments.
Right. Okay. Well, the chair will declare a public hearing open if there's any specific questions regarding, and it's all on public record. It's all public record and available
Yes, online.
online.
In our office.
Yes. Any questions or comments regarding agenda item number 1? Chair will declare the public hearing closed.
I think it's.
I think that's
it's
later.
approved later.
We approve it
Yep.
later, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Just the public hearing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you'll have 5 and 6
Yeah.
for budget stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to switch the screen back to read and then leave.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I would say call me, but apparently that doesn't work. So.
All right. We'll go on to agenda item number 2.
Phone.
Yeah, that's what I should. Usually it comes through on my watch.
I know.
Public hearing, discussion, and possible approval of a proposed zone change from industrial I to agricultural 20-acre A20 for approximately 50.63 acres within the legal description as outlined in the agenda, located near 11,100 West Highway 56 in Cedar City. Reed.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This is a recommendation from the Planning Commission to rezone this property as requested by the Zopperopolis Foundation. They are located just out west of Cedar, right at the neck of the desert there off of Highway 56 on the north side. It's surrounded by BLM land, as you can see. There's a lot of BLM all around it. And this little star piece runs right along the highway. It's this piece that's currently zoned industrial. You can see on the map that we have industrial property all to the north side. And then on the west, there's a little piece of R5 that was zoned a number of years ago into residential 5-acre, and then the rest is A20. So it's adjacent to A20 on the very northeast corner, west corner, and then on the all along the south side across the highway. And then it's BLM and zoned industrial on the north and the east. On the property currently, there's no dwellings or no residents or really no structures of any kind other than a little pump house. There's a pivot there. There's, just kind of open grazing land. It's the property that you see where the horses are always there in the pasture, where the little pivot is and stuff as you go along there.
Wild turkeys.
Their interest in is to sell the property, and in order to sell it, the prospective buyers are looking more at residential than they are at industrial development, and so they want to be able to put a home there. And so she's trying to get it such that she can sell it as a property that someone can build on. And so that's our interest in rezoning it to A20. And that fits with the surrounding area and what's going on there. And so
Yeah,
the
there's a
Planning
lot of
Commission
homes out
recommended
there.
approval. There is water through an existing well that could be developed. As we look at rezoning, we always look at not just one particular use, but all the things that are allowed in A20. And that gave us some pause in some respects because of the residential nature there. A20 does allow for some heavier agricultural uses. It can have some heavier things in there that may not be as conducive to residential, and that's why we created the RA20 zone and wondered if that might be a good candidate here, but there is no other RA20 in the area, and it's all larger stuff, and so we felt like, the owners are going to have to kind of mind what they're doing there and see what other uses that may not be a conflict. But I think given the existing uses and the proximity on 56, there's probably not as big a risk of having some of those other heavier industrial types of agricultural coming in there. So that's why the Planning Commission went ahead and recommended approval. We need a public hearing unless there are any specific questions to the property, and then move forward.
Okay, Chair will declare the public hearing open on agenda item number 2. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Turn it back to Reed.
The evaluations, and when we do findings, we recognize that this is a legislative decision. Findings simply mean that we see that it makes sense from the standpoint of the considerations that we've given to the other uses that can occur there, and that it makes sense with the surrounding land uses, and that we haven't had any opposition to it. It's a legislative decision. The legislative body decides what's in the best interest of the public going forward. And in some cases, it may make sense to do that. And in other cases, because of the existing surrounding land uses, it may not. That's in your discretion. You have the ability to decide that. So the findings simply mean that you've determined that it can be in the best interest of the public, and that it follows the considerations in being able to provide the kind of infrastructure that would be required for those kinds of uses. And we're ready for action.
Great. Call for a motion.
I'll move to approve the proposed zone change from industrial 1 to agriculture, or I to agriculture 20 acre A20 for approximately 50.63 acres within the description noted in the agenda. And this is located near, well, the APN number is E-682-6, and it's located near 11100 West Highway 56, Cedar City.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is approved. So moving on to agenda item number 3. Public hearing, discussion, and possible approval of a proposed zone change from rural agricultural 20 acres, RA20, to residential 1 acre, R1, for approximately 40.93 acres within the legal description as provided in the agenda, located near 3750 West, 4000 North.
This property request for higher density development within the Tier 2 area. The green line is the master plan belt route, so that you can see it's fairly close to that, just south of Mid-Valley Road and east or west of Lund Highway, just on the north side of 4000 North. That area here, as I zoom in just a little bit closer, just shows that there's Sitla to the west of it in a master planned community known as the Three Peaks Golf Community, and then has BLM further to the west, but private all around it. Currently, the property is zoned RA20, which is all the light pink, which is what we did when we created the zone and rezoned all of those properties that focus primarily on residential in an agricultural area. But then all the light pink, the more pink stuff is R1 half. Many years ago, especially along Lund Highway there in 2005, 2006, before we had the economy plummet, we had a lot of interest in more development and higher density, and came in with a lot of projects to rezone those properties. We've considered rezoning those back to agricultural many times over the years, and they just have been working in other areas. But this is an interest to rezone to R1, not the R1 half that it's adjacent to. We have R1 on the north side of Mid-Valley Road and the Cedar Valley Acres subdivision, and then there's been that piece that's on the south side is a 20-acre piece that was rezoned to R1, as well as there's another one further west that was rezoned to R1 that's adjacent to that. So there's R5 on the east side of Lund Highway, residential 5 acre, and then all the R1 half that was always just future interest for higher residential development. This property has a sewer line that runs all along the south side of the property in 4000 and runs up the east side of the property going north. And water is in that area with the Water Conservancy District as well. So this, again, looking at our evaluation criteria and how this property could develop into R1. It's within Tier 2. The services are there. There's a good road to it. It meets those considerations that we could say, yes, it could fall into that type of development, and the infrastructure is either there or could easily be provided. And that's the consideration that we look at. Of course, being a minimum of 40 acres, we rezone properties only if they're at least 40 acres, if they're not adjacent to that same zone, so that we don't just have little pockets of random zoning here and there. So that's what this is. It's a little over 40 acres. As you zoom in the yellow there, you can just see there are two existing parcels, and down in the very corner there are a number of structures and because you're using primarily for agriculture and just serving that area there. Really wouldn't interfere with the development of a subdivision. I haven't seen the draft of the layout exactly yet, and they just want to get the zone changed so that then they know they can move forward and do subdivision design. But because of the availability of the infrastructure, Planning Commission recommended approval, and staff saw that it met the criteria we would consider for rezoning for R1. So I think we've reviewed all these considerations and what it is, just a summary a little bit about what some of those are, and then if there are no questions, we're ready for a public hearing.
Great. Chair will declare the public hearing open on agenda item number 3. If there's any questions or comments, seeing none, declare the public hearing closed.
Again, the considerations that we evaluated, I know we throw this up and it just looks like there's a lot there, but it goes over all the things that we've just discussed, in terms of on and off-site improvements for central water and sewer, fire flow, on how to handle drainage, adequate transportation systems. A lot of these things are the very specific things that the subdivision ordinance requires as an administrative function of a subdivision approval. We look at them at the zoning level when it's a legislative decision, just to contemplate the feasibility of doing that. And that's why we always put these up, as this isn't totally random. Even though it's a legislative decision, we want to see that it can do what's being proposed to be done, and that's why we consider those. So beyond that, I think we're ready for action.
Okay.
I would move for approval of a proposed zone change from rural agriculture 20 acres RA20 to residential 1 acre R1 for approximately 40.93 acres, and the description is there, and the location is near 3750 West, 4000 North, Cedar City, Utah.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that one was approved. Thank you, Reed.
Thank you very much.
We'll move on to agenda item number 4, which is public comments today. Public comments should be held with a 3-minute time limit. Should not repeat others' comments, and only for items not on the agenda. No items related to the Commission's role as an appeal board. Comments should be directed to the Commission with no attacks on other folks' character.
Hello, Carol Barker, Iron County resident.
Welcome.
I came today with a statement that was, I was advised not to share because it was a little inflammatory. And what sparked it was Karsten Reed's comment in October about the negative perception that the people have towards government. And in my lifetime, and this is at the national level, which is so corrupt and dirty, and we've seen a lot of scandals. Anyway, I'm passionate about that. But what I've seen in the 15 months that I've been attending is that Iron County is run pretty well. There's a communication problem, and I hope that my coming has shown you that I'm interested in finding out what's going on, and I know that there are people that want to be involved, but there's just not that information out there as how they can get involved. And I feel like we are at a pivotal point in history where we can kind of clean up politics, that the people can be involved, that it can work for them. And we're battling gaslighting and optics, and I don't know what we can do as a county, but if there's meetings that the public can attend, like when you guys go to whatever things that you're involved is that you give your commission reports on, if there can be a tag along, it'd be great. Or if information needs to get out, please call me, contact me. I want to build bridges with our government. This morning is a great meeting, hearing what's going on in the county. Things are well, and you guys unfortunately take the brunt of the frustration. And if you've been under a rock or just ignorant to what's going on nationally and even in world politics, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. And people just want to feel that their voices are heard, that they can make a difference. And not all of us can serve. We're not all at a point in our lives where we can take the time and serve, but we can help in other ways. Community involvement, community council, something. I don't know what's out there, but I just want to extend a branch, and Marilyn, I wish you well, and I hope you gentlemen and our new commissioner are open to building communication, building trust, and moving Iron County forward in a way that the public feels that they're involved, that when they come to meetings and have concerns, that they're being heard, that there's some empathy from that side of the bench back, and we just need to work on optics and gaslighting. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comments? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 5. Carrie. Hey, Rich, will you grab Carrie again? I will. Thank you.
Should we go to 7? Are we waiting?
John's not here.
Oh, yeah.
John's not here
John's
to run
not
the
here.
calendar.
Burning something. Something's burning.
He's
I hope he's not burning. It's lunch.
Take my hat off.
We're resolution
Good job.
2024-11 adopting the 24 budget amendment. So we're taking action on what we talked about before.
Yeah, and I don't actually have the wording of this resolution because John usually writes those up, so I don't have it
That.
to read. So I don't know what you.
It's-
Do you have a did he give you the resolution to sign?
That's probably in our
No,
packet,
but what they've quit giving us. We go down and visit Chenille afterwards. Chenille kind of
And she has it.
all the paperwork.
So unfortunately, I asked Luke, and he said no. John takes care of that. So I'm like, well, what do you want me to say?
Right. Yeah, John usually has.
The actual wording of the resolution.
Oh, it's right here in your packet if you want to.
That's what I was just looking.
You want me to
for.
read it? You want to give it to me and I'll read it?
Where is it?
It was down in your packet.
What page was it?
I don't know whether it has a page, does it?
I don't know. Over here on the.
Oh, yeah.
Over there.
7.
7.
6 or 7.
Oh, I was down way
7
too
on
far.
6. 24-11. Adopting.
That's a.
Did you find it? Isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. It's 11. Sorry.
I was gonna say that's just what.
11. 11. It's fairly short.
Okay. Do you want me to just read it since I have it in front of me?
Since I don't have a copy.
So the resolution of the Iron County Commission adopting and approving the 2025 budget, whereas Iron County is required by UCA 173615 to adopt a budget on or before the last day of each fiscal period, the governing body will by resolution shall adopt the budget, which, subject to further amendment, shall thereafter be in effect for the next fiscal period. A copy of the final budget and of any subsequent amendment thereof shall be certified by the budget officer and filed with the state auditor not later than 30 days after its adoption. A copy similarly certified shall be filed with the office of the budget officer for inspection by the public during business hours. And whereas a tentative budget has been adopted and has been made available for public inspection at the office of the county auditor for at least 10 days prior to the public hearing. And whereas December 9th, 2024, at the hour of 10 a.m. in Commission Chambers at the Iron County Courthouse, 68 South 100 East, Perron City, was the time and place of a public hearing where all interested persons had an opportunity to be heard for or against the estimates of revenue and expenditures and performance data on any item in any fund. And whereas notice of the public hearing has been published at least 7 days before the hearing in one newspaper, Daily Spectrum, a newspaper of general circulation within the county. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved by the Board of Iron County Commissioners that the budget as presented and filed in the Iron County Auditor's Office is hereby adopted for calendar year 2025.
Yeah,
Okay,
but we're
that's
doing-
six.
Yeah, that's six.
Are you kidding me?
No, but just go back up
Let's just-
on the one before, and that one's 11.
You read it
Let's
for
just go ahead and approve that one.
Yeah, well, you're.
Approve
Since
that
you read
one.
it.
Let's approve number 6. Let's have a yes. Number
So
6.
I will move to approve agenda item number 6, which is the resolution 2024-12 adopting the 2025 final budget.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay,
Five's way
now.
shorter. This is the authorizing the adjustments to the 20 departmental budgets. Where Iron County departments have requested adjustments to their budgets for 2024 to cover expenses incurred over time, increases in under-budgeted areas, purchases of unbudgeted but approved equipment, and whereas adjustments must be made to authorize unexpected or approved expenditures above those appropriate in the original budget. Now, therefore be it hereby resolved by the Board of Iron County Commissioners that the 2024 budget of Iron County is hereby amended to reflect changes in the adopted and approved 2024 budget to actual expenditures as calculated and filed by the Iron County Auditor's Office. That
Was what we discussed.
is
just
resolution
earlier.
2024-11.
Yes.
That's what we discussed
Yes.
prior to
Yes.
and had a public hearing.
So are you ready for a motion?
Absolutely.
I
On number
would
5.
move to approve the resolution 2024-11, adopting the 2024 budget amendments.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we, okay.
I think I got another item, but it's later.
Are you ready for it now so you don't have
Yeah,
to keep
so you don't
running
have
in
to
and
come
out?
Sure,
Which
if you
one
wanna
is
do
it?
Number 11.
Oh, 11.
If so, you don't just have to keep making the run?
So
Yeah.
you got to convene.
Okay, so we're going to skip ahead to item number 11. We're going to convene as the Board of Equalization. What? That's not right. Is it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, no, never mind. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's Monday.
It is Monday.
It's a super Monday. Okay, we're going to convene as the Board of Equalization for item number 11, requesting approval of hearing officer's recommendation for personal property appeal filed by Appaloosa Solar LLC, presented by Carrie Christensen. Account number P999263.
Okay, so Greenbacker Energy, also doing business as Appaloosa Solar, filed that personal property appeal for their valuation for 2024. We had a hearing. Dan Johnson was our hearing officer. Took it under advisement, made some calls. We've never had an appeal of this nature. They are appealing pretty much under the understanding that their personal property they reported an MCAT was to exclude the federal tax incentives they received back, and it didn't. And so because they get those federal tax incentives back, and the state says it's, how does she say it? It's an intangible value, those tax credits are, but they should be excluded. So Dan recommended us reduce the personal property value to $150,402,149. I believe I've given you his written recommendation with his outline of what his findings were, and so that's what we're trying to get approval for, as to whether you want to accept his recommendation.
Does this set any kind of precedent with all the other agreements we have with solar companies?
No, what's a little unusual about this particular appeal is we do have in our participation agreement, which I also provided copies of it, when that participation was agreed upon by the commission, we agreed under the understanding that we would exclude those incentives. And at the time, I think it's important to realize that there was a new federal law come in place that only applied in the past to wind farms and now applies to solar farms. And so Appaloosa Solar is the first, to my understanding how he explained, is the first in the state to actually take advantage of this tax incentive. So there'll be more solar farms taking advantage of the incentive going forward. So as new ones come on,
They will appeal them. Also,
they'll either
It'll
appeal
just
them
be
or they'll be
excluded.
included. Yeah,
Just be
we
included.
asked him to, going forward, to exclude them because it's less confusing.
Right.
If you're expecting to pay not taxes on that incentive, then just exclude it and you're reporting to MCAT. So hopefully that will prevent this appeal
this
from
have
year
to
to year.
be
Yes.
happen.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'll move to approve the adopting of the public. No, I'm sorry. I'll move to approve the hearing officer's recommendations for personal property appeal filed by Appaloosa Solar LLC, account number P999263.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed. All right. We are going to reconvene as the Iron County Commission. And you know what? I'm just going to work up from the bottom. We're so jacked from here. We'll go to
Yeah, let's
item
let
number
these
9.
guys go home.
Fire guys, come on. You don't need to be here. I keep looking at you guys and thinking I got to figure out a way to slide you in differently. And this is it.
Oh, we'll make it as quick and easy and painless as possible.
So introduce yourself.
So that's I appreciate me getting, you guys letting me come and introduce myself and give a chance to tell you who I am. So my name's Spencer Rollo. I'm actually from Cedar City, born and raised here. Graduated Canyon View High School in 2006. Started with the Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands in 2006, right after high school. Been working with the division ever since. Been kind of through a couple different counties as I went through this, but started out with our fuels crew, bottom of the totem pole, low guy. I was the grunt, running chainsaws, throwing sticks. Worked my way up. I actually worked with Ryan Riddle, helping him build this program that I now get to sit in and operate. So that was back in 2008 when we introduced the engine crews. So, but through my career, I moved over to Kane County and worked as an assistant fire warden there, and then the fire warden in King County for just shy of 9 years. So the job is not new to me, but the faces are. So been all over the country fighting fire and have a lot of experience, different field types, different people, and different fire conditions. So I'm happy to be here. I was really happy to move back home, come back to my roots, and continue this program and work with all of you guys. And sorry, I won't get to work with you much, but it's a pleasure getting to meet all of you and be here. And then I just want to open it up to questions that you might have for me as the new fire warden coming in, and what my plans might be. And
So do you have family here? Is that why you wanted to come back?
I do. Yep, my whole family lives here.
Oh, nice.
Brothers, cousins, mom, dads, grandma, and grandpas, the ones that are still alive. So
That's awesome.
yep. Yeah, it's
You.
it's good to be back home, and it's great to see Summit Mountain again. Grew up in Enix, so
Oh,
it's
nice.
great waking up and coming outside and seeing our Summit Mountain again. The red rocks were pretty, but there's something special about our mountains here, so I'm happy to be back home.
The only thing I would say is there's not a good pinyon in juniper. Let them burn.
So I have
That's just my own thing.
I have a hate relationship. There is no love relationship with juniper. So
Yep.
yeah, I was actually on the Broken Ridge fire out there. on
Oh,
your
was you?
property. So yeah, I was
Yeah.
I was out there and watched that beautiful
That was
fire
awesome.
just annihilate the junipers. So it was
It's been
fantastic.
a great rehab. It has been an awesome rehab.
Yeah, it was great going in and hunting elk in there the 2 years after that happened, and oh man, I've never seen so many elk in my life. So
I know.
it's
I
beautiful
know,
out
it's
there.
So beautiful.
So yeah, I've been here a minute, and I don't have a love relationship at all for juniper. So no worries there. We'll grind, burn, get rid of, remove, however many we can. So
Spencer, would you email us your contact information?
I will, and I did email you guys once before, but I'll do it again.
Just
yeah.
maybe do it again. I'm just going to put it in my phone, but
And my phone number stayed the same as Ryan Riddle's.
did
we
it?
just transferred the number, so my number is still the same. The
Okay.
47117 or
What is it?
4714.
what is it? Just tell us.
435 590-4714.
All right.
And my email is super easy. It's spencerrollo@utah.gov. No spaces or nothing in there. So, but I'll email it to you again. I did email it when I first got over here, and I don't have my business cards quite yet. They're on order, but they haven't showed up yet. So
That's fine.
these guys are watching me close. So.
All right. No, we welcome. We appreciate working together.
Yeah,
I'm the public safety fire guy, so I'll talk to you quite a bit.
Good.
And
Good.
We'll be in meetings and such. So welcome.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys have had a chance to maybe reach out to the King County commissioners there. I had a great relationship with them, and they hated seeing me go. So, yeah, I'm happy to be back, but it was hard to go to. You build those relationships up, and I'm looking forward to building them up here as well.
I will tell you, on the West Desert, the farmers and ranchers out there don't like to have to call in when they burn.
Yeah,
and they don't think they should have to, and so you're gonna have to build those relationships, because even Ryan had a hard time with that.
What's good is I come from the ranching community here. My great grandfathers, my grandfathers, and my one grandfather that's still alive that still ranches. So yeah, I've got that background, so I can talk to those guys with ease. I already did attend the Farm Bureau meeting and introduce myself there, and so hopefully we'll be able to build those relationships, and also how my program can help them with their burning and agriculture and things like that. So
because there is a statute that says that farm burning is different than other burning.
It is. There's that exemption.
And they don't understand why. I get why it is, because then you have people, anytime you burn, people call and throw a big fit about
it's really
burn down the world, and
really expensive when you got a rancher that is trying to do the right thing and burning, and then we send a helicopter or an airplane over the top of them. It's pretty expensive to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if we can hone some of those costs in by just having those relationships and those conversations,
it might be warranted to have a meeting out in that area, and just talk to them and do a little PR work out there.
Yeah, I've been making some moves to do that.
We have that really nice fire station that we just built for out there. It'd be a nice and they have plenty of room for those folks to come in. It'd be a
good spot
great
to do
spot to do that. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. So wherever I can help out, that's where I want to be. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We did have a second portion of this was talking about CWS and the increase to the PC. I am not going to talk to you. And I'm going to let Dan and you about
that one was a little bit shocking.
Yeah.
When everything else went up too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we had an increase in PC. I think you guys saw a letter or some documentation on that. Mm-hmm. So just a little explanation on that. They realized from the beginning that they were calculating the cost of fires incorrectly, and it was stated in that letter that was sent out by our director. So I guess to help explain that, so the state covers costs for private unincorporated county, municipality. We cover those costs when it comes to wildfire, excluding federal lands. So when they were calculating it all as one off of burnt acres. So when they go to reconcile for the cost of the fire, they say, well, state, 40% of this fire was on you, which included municipality, county, and state land. And the federal, you had 60% of the fire. And so that's how it was being calculated. And so for the county, it was only like 15% of the total cost. Well, the state was paying the total 40%, and they realized, well, that's not the true cost to the county or the municipality. So they took that 40% and then broke it down again by acres, which increased their cost. And so once they recognized that and realized that, it took them a little while to start, do the math and the numbers, and then to roll it out to say, hey, yeah, we've been doing this wrong. Actually, this is where the true numbers are. And now that could fluctuate due to fires over, the 10-year average, high cost, low cost, just the amount of cost of fires in there. So your PC could go down if there's no fires, and it could go up depending on large fires or not. So that's where the increase in PC came from, was they were calculating the cost of fires incorrectly with the federal land. At the beginning, they were including the federal land in the big picture. Once you exclude them, break it down to what actual cost is to the state, to the municipality, to the county. That's why it went up. So,
Did all the counties go up like that?
yeah, not like that. It depends. One county in our area went up 500%. So it just depends how the fire activity in your county, how much federal land's in your county, to where that kind of, the math comes in and where they're breaking out the burnt acres. So if you don't have any large fires, it's not going to go up as much. But if you have a year like Bryan Head, that's probably the reason why yours was up so high. You have the Bryan Head fire still calculated in this. So once that drops off.
It's a 10-year.
It's a 10-year. So once you get to 2027, because it started in 17, that fire will drop off. So your PC could come down if you don't have another large fire between now and 2017. So yeah, it's all fire activity. Obviously the cost of suppression, and it goes into that. So that's the reason why it went up. So with Spencer and everything that's going on, come up with a good plan, spread that participation commitment out to where you can account for the work that's being done. I know a few years ago we got a piece of equipment you guys did, utilize that. Where
Pretty nice.
It's been awesome.
So stuff like that. There's some, put your brain, get Spencer's brain working and get some ideas and help, lessen the blow on that PC increase. So that's the reason why. Any questions?
I'm just going to stand up and just say one thing, because I've been doing this.
Go to the mic, please. Sorry.
No, I do want to say, just because I have been doing this for the last 9 years in Kane County, I do have a pretty good plan. Even though we're budgeting for the hard dollars, what we'll do is we'll get with these other departments, the roads, parks, those type of things that are already doing work, and get their in-kind hours and those in-kind matches. And that works towards our PC without spending that actual hard dollars, because we're already doing the work in other departments. And so we want to capture those things. So it's not just fire paying for all of this stuff. It's these other departments that are doing stuff like weeds, the parks, cleaning up the parks, things like that. We're reducing those fuels, and so we can use those in-kind hours. And so we capture that in our statement here to help with that. So we're not spending $500,000. We're using those monies, those funds that are already taking place. So
Great. Thank you.
hopefully that'll help.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to give this to you because you're going to need to sign that.
Just on the bottom, or is there a signer page? Oh, there it is. I'm gonna get my old man glasses.
And I'll make
Hey.
sure that John gets you
Yeah,
a copy once.
that'd be
All the
great.
signatures are on there.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
You can
So,
go
Mr.
down.
Chair, I reviewed the meeting schedule
Yes,
compared to this year, and it's exactly the same.
that's what I
I would propose I would make a motion and we accept it.
Okay.
seconding that.
Yep, I'm seconding.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that all right?
Although it won't make
Absolutely.
any
No,
difference to me.
I just looked through it real quick, and it's identical. to what we-
I assumed that
Yeah.
it would be, so awesome. Review and possible approval of First Amendment to the Cedar City and Iron County Agreement related to construction of the jail.
Is that you?
I don't.
Did you?
I don't know about that.
What was the First Amendment? Do you know what it was?
We're a little bit discombobulated today because John's cooking lunch for Marilyn to pay her back for all the food she's fed us, and Luke is out of town. Our auditor's out of town, so
Oh, hold on. Sam's calling me.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe. And Sam's gone. I didn't even hear he was going to be gone.
Hello? Hey. No, we're on it right now.
Oh, that might be for the
Oh.
MOU of Cedar City.
Oh, it
that what
is,
it
I
is?
bet. For the jail.
Hold on, Sammy's got something
Sam's
to
got
say.
to say.
All right, this is Sam Woodall from the County Attorney's Office. He's on speaker. I'm holding you up to the mic, Sam.
Good morning, Commissioners.
No.
I just wanted to touch base with you about this particular agenda item. It was submitted, and then after speaking with Commissioner Cousins, we decided to propose some revisions to the amendment. Those are still being processed, so it would be appropriate for the Commission to vote to table this issue until next year.
Okay.
What it was, Sam, right? It's to do with the sewer system. We had to install a grinder on the other jail because of inmates flush batteries
and all kinds of
shirts
stuff
and
down
clothes and whatever down the sewer, and we need to grind that up, and then there's an auger that augers that stuff out that we can take to the landfill instead of going through the sewer system.
Yeah.
And there was just a slight change with the MOU of Cedar City. So,
Okay.
but it's your turn. But I'll make the motion to just table that until the next meeting. It can wait.
I'll second that.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 8 is tabled until the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Bye.
Yeah,
Where is Sam?
Court.
he's
got some family.
Family issues.
He's got some
Oh,
family
family,
stuff.
come
He's-
here.
He's watching his children.
kids.
Oh,
Um,
we don't have any
we don't have any.
boards, do we?
And Jen, we don't have any.
Closed session?
Do we? We don't have any. Why don't we have any personnel?
You know, we just wanted to take a break.
Good job.
Good.
No, we're actually
So there's
gearing
no
up
problem.
for-
There's no openings, no firings.
There's
no
a lot of
closings?
openings. There's a lot of
Should be
Firing.
the above, all of the above, but they'll be on the next commission meeting, and it will be vast. I promise.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good.
County boards.
Nope.
No need for closed session.
Ooh, that's weird.
All right, we're gonna adjourn.